A lot of you are probably familiar with the story of the Winchester Model 70. Some of you aren't. Just to make it a shorter story, basically it amounts to everybody who talks about the Model 70 will talk about the pre-1964 rifles as being like from the golden age of when they made them. They were more expensive to make at that time. They had just two features: the controlled round feeding, which held the cartridge case all the way to the chamber, and cone breeching. And those features were pretty expensive. And Remington's Model 700 had come out at that time, and it was competing and outdoing Model 70 in sales. So Winchester in 1964 went to a push feed system, did away with the cone breech, put on a less nicely finished stock with impressed checkering and not as well finished. A lot of people who are connoisseurs of Model 70 will say actually the pre-war Model 70 is even nicer than just the pre-64. But either way, if you look on the sites that sell Winchesters, the earlier than 1964 models will fetch multiple thousands of dollars. They're very much desired, especially depending on condition and caliber and all that. But anyway, Winchester had hurt their reputation for quite a long time, and in about the 1980s they improved the quality of them, at least in terms of appearance. They still had the push feed, they hadn't changed anything. And then 1990s they finally made a return, and that's what this rifle is right here. And the first year they made these available, actually the year before, I believe it was 92, they came out with a controlled round feed, but instead of having the long claw extractor that was traditional for the Mauser type action that the pre-64 models had, it was actually called controlled round push feed, and it had the short extractor, but it would actually hold the cartridge case head. Well, in the following year, they finally brought back those features from the pre-64 rifles: cone breech, controlled round feed, and they dubbed it the Model 70 Classic. And that's what I'm holding here in my hand. And this is a 1993 made one too. And on the side of the receiver, I don't think this will show up on camera, but I'll try. Try to get it as close as possible. Made in New Haven, Connecticut. I was able to confirm that, and also the year of manufacture with the serial number by calling Winchester. And it does have, I'll verify this, the long claw extractor. And for anybody who knows anything about the way these things work, you can see the underside of the bolt face is relieved for controlled round feed. It has that. I can't show you the other feature, the cone breech. That's too hard to show. I can see that it is. It's probably better to describe as a funnel breech. Basically what that does is it allows the cartridge to feed more reliably. It kind of funnels it into the chamber. A nice feature. The reason they were able to reintroduce that in 1993, technology, CNC machining. Whereas before, the pre-64 rifles required a considerable amount of hand fitting and machining and all kinds of handwork, they're finally able to reintroduce those features at a point that was competitive with other manufacturers, Ruger, Remington, Savage, the others. And they brought those back. And so this is the first year they reintroduced it. This is a 30-06. As you can see here, beautiful rifle. Get it up close, you can see the finish on the stock. It's got a really nice checkering pattern. I love that. Walnut, of course. Butt pad, not really a recoil pad. The sling is a shout out to this company. It's a Hunter quickfire sling. I've got all four of my rifles have this sling. So all my rifles that have swivels have this sling. Great sling. You can adjust it just instantly with a pull this way or pull this way. You can tighten it or loosen it right there as you like. So you can loosen it to carry it over your shoulder or to use for steadying your aim. Or you can tighten it up just to get it out of the way. Really, really good sling. Highly recommend it. You don't even need to use buckles or anything. It's adjustable without having to do that. The scope is a Leupold. It's a VX Freedom 4-12. And it's a good scope. It's not their top of the line scope, but it does have the side parallax adjustment, side focus, and it shoots really well. I took it to the range last week. Really what I was doing was, instead of shooting for accuracy, I was just trying to get it sighted in, but without any effort at all. I was putting 5 shots inside 8/10 of an inch. I'm certain I could do way better than that if I were actually shooting for accuracy instead of trying to get my aim point corrected. I want it to be a 1/2 inch high at 50 yards, which would put it dead on at 270 some yards according to my tables with that particular cartridge, which I'll show you in a moment. And allows me to maximum point blank range of just a shade over 300 yards. So yes, I will be hunting deer with this come fall. And this is the exact cartridge I'll be using. And is a 165 grain Barnes TTSX bullet, federal brass. The powder charge is 57 grains of IMR 4831, and the primer is a CCI 200 large rifle standard primer. And I've already taken 3 deer with that load in my Ruger 30-06. So yeah, I intend to be doing some hunting with it this fall. I said it's a beautiful rifle. Here's a chance to look at it. And you can buy these today. They're being made now by FN. They bought the Winchester name and equipment. The only thing is they're being made in Portugal now. Now, this one I sought out because this is my own bias. I wanted one made in USA, and by gosh, this is one of the ones made in USA. And that was from 1993 to 2004. And at that point, they shut down manufacturing here and moved the tooling and equipment overseas to Portugal. And the parts now are come from various places they're sourced, but they're assembled there. I've been told that the new Winchesters are very, very good, but as I said again, I really wanted one that was made, it's certainly assembled here, almost every part from the United States, and that's what this is. And beautiful rifle. I'd always wanted one of these, and now I have it.